Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Barakadash, and the Heavenly Father, true name is Yahweh. It is the only begotten Son, Bahashem, and name of Mashiach Kabashah. Those are the true names in the ancient Paleo Hebrew, Lash Makadash Otan, and I say Barakatham to the elders and apostles with Akwaf, and I say Shalom. And this is a lesson that outside lesson that I want to bring out, that Luke 12, the Gospel of Luke 12, verse 51. And that's going to be the title of the outside lesson as of October 14th, 2025, through the Spirit, Power, Mercy, and Mercy of Yahweh Yahushua. And you had this incident, I would say, over there in the Gaza Strip. You had two gunmen, supposedly. I was reading that news article over there in the Middle East and West Asia. They said once a couple of hours after the ceasefire began, once Trump went over there to over there in the Middle East, over there in the Gaza Strip, over there in Israel, over there in Tel Aviv, and over there in Egypt, where he met with the Middle East leaders, behind him, and then he had signed a peace deal over there, But ever since then, a couple of hours later, you've been seeing since it's been escalating, because you had like 9 Palestinians was unalive, supposedly be gunmen or something like that, was trying to attack the IDF, which the Israel Defense Force. So even though they might have a ceasefire in place, now it's still in effect. It been lasting for an effect, because you got both of them once again on both sides accusing each other by the ceasefire agreement that they have right now in exchange for the Palestinian prisoners from the hostages of the Israelis, which they went back home over there in West Asia. So ever since then, you had like 9 or 10 Ishmaelites was unalive, all those IDF Edomites, because they didn't apply with the soldiers over there in that area. So expect to see more tensions on the aspect between these nations. I'm going to get to that Luke 12 verse 51 since I'm pushing it. Yeah, to Luke 12 and verse 51. This is the book of Luke 12 verse 51. This is the book of Luke 12 verse 51. It says, suppose ye that I come to give peace on earth, I take neighborhood division. Right, that was a prime example, even though, that's kind of tripped out. It's kind of bugged out as well, too, because a couple of hours they had a ceasefire agreement, but you still got those resistance of those Palestinians over there. They still going against those IDF Edomites, even though they had started to withdraw their soldiers out of that region, that area over there, the Gaza Strip, the West Bank, Palestinian territory. Because I believe last time was a news article, was like 60% of that Palestinian territory was occupied by those IDF Edomites. So I think they agreed to the deal to have the Palestinians continue to fully control over there in the area. And then after that, you've been seeing a resurgence of the Hamas once again, controlling those areas over there. So, and hey, you even had the Hamas and you had the Hamas and the Palestinians able to clash against one another. But I guess that kind of cooled down. So that's what they're going to team up once again, Hamas and the Palestinians together going against those IDF Edomites. But you're still going to have those resistance of those Hamas. You're still going to have the resistance of those Palestinians over there in the area. While we start to see the withdrawal from those IDF Edomites over there throughout the whole area. So expect to see more tensions over there in the area between these nations. And that's why it says modern day ruler against modern ruler, nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom. And that's why Yahushua says, think not that I come to send peace on earth, I take neighborhood division. Now you might have these nations might be cool with each other, peaceful momentarily. Tensions are going to escalate. But this may happen countless of times, especially with the Israeli-Palestine situation, for a very long time. So, and it makes perfect sense as well, too, because you had these IDF Edomites. They've been breaking covenants, they've been breaking ceasefire agreements, So, and just like over there in Lebanon, it was a recent strike over there. I believe it's like 2 people on the line, 9 were injured over there in Lebanon. They continue to target those groups over there in that area, the Ishmaelites of Hamas as well too. So that's only going to continue to increase. So even though they under a ceasefire agreement, you're still going to have tensions that escalating, only going to continue to heat up over there in that area. So expect to see more tensions heating up over there in Lebanon, like the suburban part over there in Lebanon, over there in the Gaza Strip, the West Bank, the Palestinian territory, like that whole area. So that's only going to continue to increase. And all these modern nations are rising against one another. It's like we're seeing what's happening over there in the Korean Peninsula, North Korea. Korea versus South Korea, Japan, United States. That's only going to continue to increase. We see it happen down there in the South China Sea. China versus Taiwan, that's increasing. China and Philippines, that's only going to continue to increase. So, because you had the United States call out China because of that rude behavior of the crashing of that military vessel from China did that to the Philippines. So, these tensions are only going to soar between China and the Philippines. So, that's only going to continue to heat up. So, expect to see more alliance heating up between China and Taiwan and the Philippines versus China. So, because you have Beijing warning Taiwan and the Philippines, they playing with fire, especially Taiwan. Especially Beijing sent that one to Taiwan twice for the past, I would say, for the past 2.5 months consistently. So, and expect to see these tensions, especially with the Russia-Ukraine situation, that's only going to intensify. And the Russia-Ukraine situation, Russia versus NATO. Russia versus NATO, Russia and Belarus going against NATO and the EU and their allies. That's why it makes perfect sense because Yahushua says, think not that I come to send peace on earth, I take neighbor and division. So what's that? 1 Thessalonians 5:3, for they shall say peace and safety, sudden destruction come upon them, as you bear with child shall escape from house of power religion. 1 Thessalonians, Luke 12 verse 51. Suppose ye that I come to send peace on earth, I take neighbor and division. Right, so Yahushua says, I think not that I come to send peace on earth, I take neighbor and division. So you're still gonna have nation against nation. You're still gonna have a nation within itself being divided, and then outside of another nation being divided against another nation. You're gonna have a kingdom within itself being divided, within their own kingdom, within their own nations are gonna be divided. So nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom. So that's only gonna continue to increase. So with that, hopefully this lesson was how to find. Hopefully this outside lesson was how to find that Luke 12 verse 51. Next time on outside lesson, as of October 2025 on this Tuesday morning. So with that, I would like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, the Kakodash, and the Heavenly Father, that you name is Yahweh, and the Son, you got the Son, Bahashem, the name of Bahashem. Those are the true names in the ancient Paleo-Hebrew. And I say, Rock and Bone, City, I never worship the apostles, until